What's up, everybody? This is I think it's like day 11 of 45 of this 45-day live stream challenge. It is about 11 p.m. It was a rest day for the gymnasium today, so I'm taking advantage of that. Taking 100% advantage of that. Had a pretty good day. Spent most of the day kind of studying and just kind of getting ready for what is it for class and for finals. So that's how my day went. But uh, yeah, I uh, I was trying to come up with some ideas and how to come up with an idea, how to I don't know, whatever it might be. And I kind of wrote this earlier. It says, whether uh, so I'll just read it. I was trying to rehearse it, but like I'm not really good at that. So at least not yet. So he said, do you ever find yourself struggling to come up with new ideas? Whether it's for a project at work, a creative endeavor, or just something to do on a lazy weekend, it can be tough to constantly come up with fresh and exciting ideas. But fear not, because I've got some tips to help you get those creative juices flowing. And these are my tips. So first of all, you got to brainstorm. Brainstorm is number one. Number two, actually, let me stick with that. So you got to brainstorm. So like obviously this might seem like an obvious one, but it's what is it? It's important. It's important to give yourself the time to just let your mind wander and jot down any ideas and all ideas that come to you. You don't have to really worry about how feasible they may uh, be at this stage, but just focus on getting them out of your head and onto paper. So I find like for my ideas, like it's best. It's best when I put them on like I have a whiteboard. So actually, I painted whiteboard on the wall. So my whole wall, like a whole part of my wall, is a whiteboard. I actually got that from PT school. There's this center at USC at the health science campus. Their the DPT program called the Sullivan Center, and that whole room, all of the walls that aren't cabinets, which is like there's like three full like solid walls. That's just whiteboard, and I was just like, dude, I like that. I ate some popcorn earlier. Mm. And I like that. So, I try to recreate that a little bit. I'm not going to do the whole wall, but like I did a good size of it. So it's definitely something that I got that I bought. It was a whiteboard paint, and I have like a whiteboard that's about I don't know about four. I want to say 4 feet by like 6 or 7 feet. So yeah, it's a good size. So now I can tag it up and just do whatever, just throw up ideas. If I need it for school, I use that. But I love whiteboards. So um, that's what I do. That's where I brainstorm and that's where I write down my ideas. Right. And then, so that's number one. Number two is asking for input. So sometimes, bouncing ideas off of others can help spark new ones, whether it's a colleague at work, a friend, or even just on social media. Asking for input, uh, helps bring fresh perspectives and helps you see things in a new light. So uh, that's important because, like I said, you kind of hear everybody's perspective, what's cool, what's not with this. You got to remember that what you like ain't is probably not everybody likes that, and you can probably come up with a good idea. So like me and the homie, we're trying to figure out like the name of a battle, and he came up with some, I came up with some, we were both like you know, and not because like I wasn't contradicting him or he was contradicting me. We just both had like different views and why and this and that. Like he's done these battles uh, or events before. I've This is the first one that I'm doing with him, with him and period. And so, you know, uh, he called it one thing, and I wanted something like more like, oh, it should be more like this. But, and I'm just like, we're just bouncing off ideas, you know, and same thing. We you look at venues, you're like, oh, but this, oh, but that, but this and that, and then you got to take in consideration. And so when we keep talking, we keep bouncing ideas off of each other. So sometimes that's the input that you need, and you gotta be you can't be too proud to let things you can't let things get to you, because if they do, then it's a possibility that things won't end right. So you go in there with an open mind and let it happen, right? So this is number three. You take a break. All right. If you're feeling stuck, remember, uh, sometimes the best thing you can do is step away from the situation for a bit. Go for a walk, read a book, or do something completely unrelated to this idea that you're trying to bring, or this kind of creation you're trying to do. Often, when you come back to, uh, when you come back to it, you have a like new pair of eyes. So, and then more ideas will start to flow. So, and that's kind of the best thing. You just leave stuff up there. You're just like, all right, I'm just gonna leave this on the board for a minute, and then we'll come back to it when we come back to it. And then boom, all of a sudden you're just like, oh shit, this is dope. I think a lot of artists do the same thing where they're making music, and they start with like something, and they're like, oh yeah, I made this song, and like I had started like 3 or 4 years ago, and like I got stuck on it and I couldn't really find the right thing. And then I was writing another song like, recently, and it just kind of like, I was like, no, I like it for this. And they, you come back to that one because you got inspired. So it's it's important. When things start to get like annoying, or you're just like, man, you need to take a break and just step away, and then come back to it again. So yeah, taking a break is number three. Number four, look for inspiration. So whether it's browsing through Pinterest, reading articles, or watching movies, finding inspiration from like others can help spark your own ideas. So don't be afraid to take inspiration from others. Just make sure you're adding your own unique spin on things. And so, in the dance world, we do that a lot. We watch other people do some moves, and then we kind of copy the move, but not like biting it. We're copying it, and then we add our own flavor to it, you know. Or it could be just like, oh man, they did it like this way. I'm inspired by that style that they're doing. It could be, they're doing a robot in slow motion, right? And so they're like, oh, I was inspired by slow motion. Let me do some animating in slow motion with a robot with like taking, it's, whatever. It could be like, oh, I want to do some art that like puts Chrono Trigger with like Final Fantasy and like, Terminator franchise or something. And, boom, something comes out of that. So, uh, yeah. So, you can find inspiration wherever we can. Sometimes it's just, taking a walk and you can see it on a tree. I know sometimes uh for things that I like that I do, like, especially with dancing, like trees sometimes just give me something. I think I got inspired by the Forrest Gump's the feather, the do 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 do, and obviously this doesn't look like a feather, but just the way it was flowing, you just kind of let. I don't know. In my mind, that's what I'm doing, even though it doesn't. But it made. I was inspired by it. So yeah. Um, and number five. Set goals. Sometimes having a clear goal in mind can help guide your ideas. If you're working on a project, set clear objectives and use those as a jumping off point for new ideas. So, we do something called SMART goals: specific, measurable, attainable, and realistic and timely. Specific, measurable is attainable or achievable, realistic and timely. So using that acronym with your goal can help you be successful uh, with new ideas. And setting the goal for the idea. So, sometimes it takes one idea and failing at that idea that takes bits from that idea to make another idea. So, but you got to follow through with this idea or whatever that you're trying to create, and set the goals right away. And if it succeeds or fails, doesn't matter, because you already have like a little blueprint. You can kind of see what works here and carry that over instead of just like making it happen. So yeah. So remember, coming up with these new ideas takes practice and especially patience. Don't get discouraged if it takes some time, because it's gonna take a lot of time. Just keep at it, and you'll be surprised at what you can come up with. So uh, it's somebody said, I don't remember where I heard it, but like, ideas is a muscle. To come up with new ideas and be innovative with this, like, that's something you got to practice. It's something that you have to work on. And if, like, you know if you don't work on it, you're never going to get past that. It's like when people goes, oh, I have like writer's block or have some type of block, right? But like, you've never drawn or you've never written or you've never created something before. How can you have a block? It's not even a block. You just don't know how to do it. And the thing is you got to do it and consistently do it to see what works. So I don't know. That's just a little something about, like, how to come up with new ideas. Main thing was, there was five points. You brainstorm, you ask for input, take a break, look for inspirations, and set goals. And you follow that, you'll be coming up with some new ideas, maybe some innovative ones, something that's gonna shock the world. Who knows? You might be the next Elon Musk, creating big things. So hopefully that helps with you. And Serge, hey man, keep it up, bro. You're doing good. Day 11, push. You just come up with something every day and just kind of just push forward from there. All right, dog. All right, homie. I will see you tomorrow, and I will see and can just continue doing your thing, homie. All right. Peace.